Hello, hello, and welcome to our game dev sections. For us, okay. Yeah, something's pulling the energy for the fans pretty hard. I wonder what's going on. It's funny because it's with the new water cool system, which I actually find extremely fascinating. I might get it for one of my other machines. It seems to overheat quite a bit. Um, the fans don't seem to kick in really hard anymore until we go to the GPU, and it has to like power up for the GPU. So that's fascinating to me. I guess that's kind of game dev related. Is controlling your systems. Let's turn this off for a minute. Let's see if we can do a window capture of. Hmm, let's go with this one. See if it can do it. Yeah. So if we turn this on, make it a little bit bigger. So you see here on the right, this is my mix. So whichever one is the hottest, it determines what fans play inside or what fans go off inside the box. So the max core, that is actually the for the processor. Then we have the GPU, and then we have the motherboard. And whichever one is the hottest is the one that gets the most attention and decides what air flows through the box. So what keeps happening is, for the first time, and this used to be up there at 90 and over 100 until we put the new cooling system in. And now it's just like it's running at normal speed. It's only at 51%, and it's at 39 Celsius. But these will change, and as these change, then different configurations will play out. Um, so whoever's the hottest gets the most attention. But it's a nice little setup. It's a good little program. You know, it's just called fan control. It's just all it's called. But I learned from this from 2 Cents. I forget the whole name of his show, but the guy on, so you can see it changing. See how it changes where now it's core. When it drops below, then whoever's hottest gets it redistributes how the air moves through the box to cool that one off. So yeah, Jay's 2 Cents. I've learned about this program from him. So, and I've had it in all my computers since, and it's actually a pretty damn good program. So I would suggest using it if you want to keep your box cool. But yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, it just kicked up again. Let's see what's it doing. Yeah, so but even though, see, so like the GPU got too warm. So yeah, it's just kicking up to keep the GPU under 35. So yeah, it's a nice little program. It's easy to set up, and it's free. So it's like I made a donation, but it is free to use, and you just donate. But it's called Fan Controller, and it's kind of fun to set up because once it detects everything that's in your system, you can open your case and use these here to actually set up the fans. And these are each individual fan, and you can set them up, turn them on and off so you know which one's which in the box, and then you can really control how air flows through the box. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so whatever's the hottest gets the most attention. Absolutely, that is the whole purpose. But it's switching up all the time, so yeah. But as an overall, we're keeping it 41. You know, bouncing between 35 and 45. You know, so that ain't too bad for an overall temperature inside the box. Mm, that's funny. Technically, you are right, Scry. Savvy Otter is a Twitch fan controller. Good call. Good call on that one. Made me laugh for a second. Made me giggle. Well, I want salted coffee. I'd check out fan controller and see if you can control your system a little bit better. Don't forget the Yearjoy killed his biggest fan live on stream. Funny. So be very, very careful. I didn't kill it. I turned it off because it was being too loud. I did not kill it. Ads will be coming in 2 minutes. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's get to what we were talking about yesterday. I believe I already have it up and over here. Looking for the right one. Okay, so I wasn't able to do it last night, but I did work on it this morning. Let me pull the page up. This the one? Please be the right one. That is the right one, but it is very tiny. Let's do this. That is not where we're supposed to be. Alrighty, that's where we're supposed to be. So I went through and I was able to do it this morning as I finish off this spreadsheet of these will be side quests from each person in town based on what level our character is. So it was funny because I'm going through and working on this, and then I realize I'm like, wait a minute, this is getting massive. So if we go down along, we have a lot of people in town here. And I will stop there for a moment. Okay. Would you like someone to turn off your blood vessels from your brain too? You murderer. You're assuming someone hasn't already done that, OC. You make a lot of assumptions in your accusation. We are in chat. You open that over there. Go back to that. Move this over here. So I'm just waiting for ads to clear. I think I should put a timer up for the ads too. Maybe we'll see. Oh. Shouldn't be yawning. We've had our snack. We've had our dad joke snack, so should not be yawning. Yawning. Yeah, your deep assumption that there's a working brain anywhere in my vicinity is quite untrue. But, you go ahead. You think what you want to think. So, like I was saying, as I went through and I was putting these in, and realized just how many actual. Let me pull this up. How many actual peoples we have in our town? We have a lot of peoples. So if you're not a people person, this is not the town for you. But all in all, if we go from left to right, Let's start here. That gives us the opportunity for a lot of quests. So if we have 10 levels for our character, which is what we talked about, and each one gives us a single quest, even if they just give us a single quest, that's a lot. But if we go with 10, let's assume each person averages 5 to 6. We're still looking at a couple hundred quests that have to be thought up and put in. That's a lot. Now, here's the question though. What we can do is, because we have so many, is we can draw a limit to where each of them gets 4, and then for every if we do an expansion, then they'll get 4 more. If we do an expansion, they'll get 4 more, that kind of thing. Because it seems to me like with this many people, our character is going to have a lot to do, for side quests that aren't on his main path. So as I'm looking through this, I'm just like, okay, it looked like, oh, it's completely within reason when we were back over here, until we started actually putting everybody on the list. Then it got crazy. But there are some things that I probably have to fix, a couple double names and stuff like that, because I think that Donner is in there, but we'll take Donner out. We'll keep Blitzen and all them, but we're going to take Donner out. But there's a couple that can be pulled out, because when I did this, I think that I left some of the side names in. So like I said, I think Donner's in here. Sarah, Stable Boy, a rando village person. Yeah, Donner's in here. Let's pull. Can we? No, we can't. We'll just delete that. So even removing Donner, and we're still in a bit of a pickle with how many people are in town and can give us quests. Stable Boy, Stable Master, Taylor. And this is just the full out list. What we might want to do is break them into, okay, tradespeople, average people, like make, instead of one big long list, we make separate lists, and then those separate lists feed this so that we can look at all of it side by side. Why would you give anyone a quest? Because it's fun to see the look on their face, the look of fear on their face when you tell them what you need them to do. Where did the whole zombie eating brains thing ever come from? I don't know. I think the first time I remember seeing them is in The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Maybe, or was it Soylent Green? No, not Soylent Green. What was the other one? The Omega Man? Yeah, so it'd have to be Vincent Price version, which is The Last Man on Earth. I think that's the first place I saw zombies, but that was way back in the 60s, so. Yeah, I don't know why they eat brains. I guess they're good with a dipping sauce. I'm not sure. It's fun. One can be start of the quest, other people end. Yeah, absolutely, yes. So what we were writing here was just what quest do particular people in town send you on. So like the nurse will ask you, where are the meds that you were sent to go get at the beginning of our thing, and this is what we were writing down. Is I haven't completed it, but the candle maker would go, bring me some wax from the beehives out back, so we can follow these threads, so you'll bring him the beeswax, which will then he'll make you candles that you can then take to the wise man that runs the temple, and he needs candles. So that's basically it. Is the ends of the quest aren't always with the people giving you the quest. Yeah. Can confirm brains are pretty good with a soy sauce. Okay. I always preferred them with a Chick-fil-A sauce, but that's a whole different issue. Maybe a Bernaise. A Bernaise would be kind of good with brains. They're just so chewy, though. Yeah. So yeah, all of these can lead to something else. The boy I need more axes is you'd have to go to the blacksmith. The blacksmith would have to create axes for you, and then you'd have to bring them back. But other quests can be a thing for other quests. So when you go to the blacksmith, he may say, okay, well, I need logs for the handle of the axes. I need metal for etc. You should see how it's done on April 2nd. Unlock the workflows, ship things fast. Can you close the banner, please? Can I close the banner, please? I've done some of the grouping you mentioned earlier. Also had an idea in the base. Yeah, I haven't looked at your thing. I saw it this morning and I didn't get a chance to look at it. But I did get the email from you and I will open that up. The matchstick girl. Yeah, we can do that. So yeah, so we can add all those kind of things because we want it to be a living, breathing town. But we also, and that's what we were working on before when we got onto this bit of a tangent. Making games is, yes, it's a tangent oriented thing. Is if we look at our main path now. So if he's doing all these, he is interacting with people in town, but the big list that we were just looking at is more about the things in between that distract him from this path. Because this path is his base path that he should be doing in order to advance in the game. We can see unblocks your workflow. Oh. Oop. Yeah, it's just a Miro advertisement. No big deal. I didn't even see it. I didn't even pay attention to it. I've done some of the, yeah, you've said that. I haven't looked at it yet. I also have added you to the writer's credits. I just haven't updated the credits yet. Thank you, Sparta. I appreciate it. Small world. I'm playing Stardew Valley right now, and I just left the blacksmith. Cute. From a quick search, it looks like brain-eating zombies came from a 1985 film, Return of the Living Dead. No, that's they were brain-eating zombies. Like I said, if you look at Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, I believe it was was it the 50s or 60s? They were brain-eating zombies in that. So I don't think you're correct. Because also, even in Return of the Living Dead, there was Night of the Living Dead, which I believe became before Return of the Living Dead. The Return of the Living Dad, cute. Let's see. Well, oddly, well, it might just be a pop-up banner, one of their ads or something, because I don't really pay for it. So, Return of the Living Dead, Lord of the Wing. That's a little late. You could have had the answer to the dad jokes. Now I want to rewatch Shaun of the Dead. Oh, Shaun of the Dead is very funny. Very funny indeed. Yeah, because 1985 seems a little late for brain eating zombies. So I'm pretty sure they were doing it before that. Oh, that's weird. Is the Twitch channel frozen right now? On my screen, I look frozen. I'm looking down. Let me see if I can refresh this and see if it fixes it. Refresh. No, it seems like I'm still there. Okay, I'm still here. Yeah, so this is our main path which we were working on, and all this is just the path for level 0 to level 1. You know, and this gets him to his first ancestor, which is this stuff down here, which is great great granddad. You know, so don't do that. Okay. And then these are all the things that it'll be doing. And then we can add that into our maps and our gameplay. So let me open up this, because we can make some quick additions to. Okay, this takes a second to load. Sorry about that. Should have did it during the break. Listen to that pump hum. Oh. Okay, let's get this open. GameMecca, come to me. Thank you. So if we went into town here, let's go back to town, forest, and then town. And we go to the candle maker to start with. We can start putting some of this stuff in and say, okay, the variables, we say, I'm the candle maker. And then we can give the first line here just so that we have them. There we go. I'll make that let's see if that, not sure how big the line is, but there. So at least now that first quest line is in there. It's not completely attached to a quest yet, but we can do stuff like that where we know he's going to do those things. And now if we do a build, it was funny. I was when I was watching Luna's stream yesterday. I was watching how she's doing her stuff, and she's explaining stuff as she goes. And I think that we're doing it right, because ours, it to me, it has the same kind of feel as I do when we're doing this, except for I do get focused too much and forget you guys are there. Nothing personal. So let's load that up. And now when we go to him, let's see. That should come up and block everything. Okay, yeah, we didn't mess that up. Okay. So now if we go to town, we go over to the candle maker. Now he should say both. Yeah. Oh, I screwed something up. I need beeswax from the hive out back. So then we go back, and I still need to make some beehives, but they'll be here. We can go and collect beehives or wax. And what we'll do is I'll take the picture that I drew or that I took of the bee honeycombs at the Science Museum, and we'll use that to make the jar of honey that he has to collect, the wax that he has to collect. So I think that would be kind of cool. You should see how it's done. Okay, we did that. I've done some of the group. Yeah, we talked about that. Where are we at? Down here. Okay. Why do you always create? Oh, see, the reason I do that is because the executable launcher, if I just use the launcher, which is the one, let me close this real quick. Let's go back to the game. Let me pull this down. Do we have it locked? No, we do not have it locked. We're just on the wrong thing. So I pull this down. If I use this, which is the run, it locks up OBS. And I don't know why. So what I found is in order to be able to show you guys a build that I'm working on, or that the stuff that we're working on is buildable, is I actually have to do a build. And I just happen to make it into a zip so that it's done and stuff like that. Because if I do this, OBS locks up. And I haven't been able to find anybody else this happens to, and nobody can explain to me why it's happening. So I just do a build, and then I have a build. So that is why. Plus it saves me, it helps me because then I know that it actually works, for lack of a better way to put it. So yeah, but we can go in and put this stuff in as just cute reminders as to what needs to be done. So if we go back to our list, let's close our game cap. Let's go back to our list. We say, okay, what do we have in here? We can go back up to our big list and say, we can go then back to our game and just start putting this stuff in so that we just have it. So we can go to, we're in town. Sorry, things are getting away from me here. Go over to the kid. And though we haven't put the code in, what we can do here is just make it to where, let's see, go one more, then it's -n. Oh, there. Will you go to the blacksmith and get me some? Yeah, that could work. So now he'll say his thing. Thanks, boy. I have to fix some code in here. I think I put the wrong. Should be a /n. It is a /n. Why is it not coming up right? Oh, I put a /b there. That's why it's not. Why did I put a /b? That's just weird. Okay. Now, what else do we have in our list from here? There were a couple others. Okay, we got the axes. Let's see. Need some honey from the beehives, wax in the beehives. Oh, the nurse, so we can go back to our little town and go back to where the nurse is. She will be here. Oh, that's right. We don't have a nurse in yet. So we'll put a hold on that one. The nurse will be later. Back to this. What else do we have? Wise men, I need candles for the temple. Okay. Actually, just copy that, can't we? Yep. Copy that. Go back to a game maker. So yeah, so we can build placeholders for everything, and then we can, what I'll probably end up having to do is do a lot of placeholders while we're on here, and then go back and do the code, because the code takes a whole lot longer. We can go back and do the code for later. So let's go to temple. Over to this guy. Hey guy, what are you doing? Come to me. Yes. N and then V. Okay, good. See, now when we do a build, all that stuff will be in there and we won't forget about it. because yes, it's good it's in our spreadsheet and we'll keep everything in the spreadsheet, but it's also good to put reminders in the game itself when you can for the things that you want to do. And since we have the people there, it's actually in our best interest just to put it with them so that we know that that's where it belongs as we're adding things to that. Oops, forgot to kill that. Okay, now we can go there and turn this back on. And we should be all good once it comes up. Yep. So now when we go to those guys, this is why I wanted to have a build in the first place so that I could just throw stuff in. And in throwing stuff in, we can see how it kind of flows. It's like, oh my God, I need candles for the temple. So then he goes back to the candle guy. Candle goes, oh, I need beadwax from the hives. He gets the hives. Boop. Come back to him. He'll make candles, give you candles. Come back in a little bit. The candles will be ready. Go down here and talk to the boy. I'm Zach. Want to throw axes at fish? I need more axes. Would you go to the blacksmith and get me some? So you can see where you can start to get the feel of how everything's going to flow through. And that's what we're basically putting together. And zombies. Okay, so we can even that out a bit, but mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I thought I unmuted myself. I'm sorry. Yeah. So is your mic. Cute. Helps if I actually look up. Now, what I was saying was this is if what we did is showed that, wow, now my brain just blanked out because I screwed that all up, but that's okay. We'll get back on track here. Let's go back down here, bring gameplay back up. So what we basically created in the few seconds that we did it here just now is we've created a small quest line that has nothing to do with the actual going to find grandfather, but gives him other things he can do besides finding grandfather. I mean, we can still do we can still add for each conversation, his first conversations, have you seen my granddad? You know, and things like that. But then the other people they're not concerned about where granddad is because they got their own lives to live. You know, so what things did they do? And basically now he as he talks to any of these guys, something will come up. I mean, I think that no matter what happens, when you first talk to the candle maker, he'll tell you to go get uh, wax from the beehives. Is a cat played texture a placeholder, or is there a reason for? Well, the cat was a holdover from the tutorials because he was in the tutorials that I did. So technically, he doesn't exist in our game, but can, because technically he does. Yeah, I think he still has this one. Still has his quest line attached to him. I'm keeping him because there is a real quest line attached to him, and I want to keep that code. So if we actually go to him in town, I believe he still has the quest attached to him. Yes. I think I left my hat in the scary cave. You might need some items to go get there, you know. So the reason I kept it in there, and I probably should just change the artwork, but he sends you on a quest to go get in the tutorial. He sends you on a quest to go get his hat. Everywhere I put him, he's gonna talk about his hat. So, oh no, this one I actually made. I am the Lorelex. I speak for the trees, which I thought was cute. So if we go there and then go back here, his hat is up at the top of this page in the cave that's there. So if we so all of the stuff in the tutorial is here, and it's what we need to make what we're talking about. It's just some of it is still the tutorials artwork, and I'm still replacing it. I have replaced all the tile set, but there's a lot of other things that haven't been replaced yet that need to be. But I also want to make sure that that code is always working for us because I have a tendency to forget about it. Go into the cave. Let's see, we need this guy. Ah, what did I just do? Screwed up. Run away! They're on top of each other. They're going to kill me. Got him. I only have half a life yet left. But the hat for him is up here in the top. And I screwed up and Gun got killed. I don't think I can kill them from here. I have 69 arrows to try, though. Ah, got one. Don't think I can get this one. Did I accidentally get him? No, he's still up there. All right. So here's his hat. Pick up the hat, wear it on our head. No, don't throw that. Pick that up. And we put it in a spot we can't pick it up. Ah, got it. Okay. Worried about that. Okay. Run away. Keep running. You only have half a life. Apparently, I did not make it to the... Oh, I did make it to the teleporter. See, now he'll have his hat. Wow, you found my hat. You're a true hero indeed. Blah, blah, blah. So now he'll always have his hat on. But I don't think the other ones will. If I remember. Oh, no, they do. Okay, so... Now they all give one of them a hat. They all wear the hat. So, yay. And they will have the hat on for the whole time. So... Is there a Let It Grow sing-along too? Not that I'm aware of. Was I singing again? I have a tendency to sing. Sorry. So that is fixed. He does his basic thing. So yeah, so as we add different ideas, we can throw them in real quick and then just kind of see how they feel. I think I didn't do a rebuild before for it, so his is still going to be a little bit messed up. Yeah, I didn't do a rebuild. Yay. So then we can go over to the blacksmith and basically he can go, what do you want? Bob the blacksmith. Need shoes on my horse. But we can go in here, and this is the other blacksmith. This is oh, this is Bob. So yeah. So we can say, like, he can have things on here, and he can even have axes that we can buy. It's like, come look at my showroom. So cool beans. I forgot what that guy does. I think he just tells us to go away. Buy something or leave. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'll look at Sparta. I'll look at your stuff tonight. I have a dinner I have to go to, but after that, I'll come back and you'll see me log in and take a look at what you put together. Mm-hmm. Cat playing texture placeholder, or is there a reason why player Gato? Player cat? No, it's not the player cat. The cats are just because in Sarah Spalding's tutorial, that's what the tutorial used, and I don't have a animation for a main character right now. So, but we have replaced all of the tile sets, which actually turned out not too bad for having our temporary tile set. It actually doesn't look bad at all. So, oop. So, because if we remember the old tile set, it was a lot flatter. Yeah. But yeah, so back to design stuff, which is just basically literally sitting there and going, okay, what's next? What are we going to have him do here? What are we going to have him do there? So he gets back from the forest. He'll have the medication that he can. He'll search for Granddad in the house. He'll go next door to the clinic where Granddad works, or owns the clinic that Granddad owns, because he actually takes care of people in town. You know, and when he goes over to the clinic, the nurse says that some people took him away. You know, and then I have a little thing here. This is where he finds out that Granddad was taken, which shocks him because he just thought Granddad was somewhere in the neighborhood. We can also do a little bit of a search the forest type thing as part of this as a side quest. So we can say, let's get a tiny one. Sticky note. Let's go with red as well because it's stuff that he's learning along the way. Yeah. Yeah, because that can also give him the opportunity to show where different things are and things like that. So he goes. The nurse suggested he go sees the sheriff. He goes into town. He can run into the boy first and say, and the boy go, "I'm throwing axes at the fish," and then he may not ask for him to go get him more axes until after. So we can that chain of thought, that chain of communication, will write out later. Let's just get the basics in of what we want them to do, and then later on we'll go and build the conversation trees and stuff like that. Then he also asks any villagers along the way where the sheriff is. They send him to the town hall. The sheriff is rude to him because the sheriff is very much on the side of Granddad's brother, is what we decided in the past. So there's a whole line of conversation that goes that way. Who's for Granddad? Who's against Granddad? So the sheriff chases him out of the town hall, and then he's basically standing in the middle of town alone, and he meets Steve. Steve is our village idiot who's also a genius way beyond his time and is trying to bring electricity to the town. This is the storyline where we're at right now. And everybody thinks he's crazy, so he's the village idiot, but he's also pretty smart. So Steve then sends him to the temple to talk to the wise monk because Steve tells him that he believes the wise monk can help him in helping his grandfather. And then the wise monk basically gives him two pieces of advice. He tells him to look to Steve for answers on the physical world, you know, and use him as a touch point for when you forget what you should be doing. I should make it you. You forget what when you forget what you should be doing. So that's just a good thing to do. And then you look to the monk for okay. We look to him for the physical world, and then look to the monk. I need to. This is why it's confusing to me. Let me pull this down. Pull that down a ways. Okay, that way we can throw another line in there. This still goes with the monk stuff. Let's say, come to me for the metaphysical, which I probably spelled wrong, but oh well, no big deal. Nope. Easy. Back to this. Everybody, nope, not you. Down here. Everybody needs to get a little bit lower. Okay. One more time. Put that there. Come to wise man for the metaphysical. So we have a physical advisor and a metaphysical advisor. And then, yeah, we can just do that down to there. I don't think I can add a second arrow to a second item. No, I can't. Might be able to do is this. Nope. Okay, never mind. All right, so we got that. Come to the wise man for metaphysical, him for physical world. So he advises you to look to your ancestors for guidance, and sends you to the tombs, to your ancestral tomb. To the tomb of your ancestors. Tomb of your ancestors. Okay. So you pass through. Now this is what we were going to add yesterday, and we didn't. Talk to the keeper there, who tells you that basically we can have him even tell you that your family tomb has been violated or something. Based on the little matchstick girl, she is a young girl with a abusive father who drinks away every penny. She works hard to make okay, cool. No worries, no pressure. Okay. So let me get this up here because I'm typing out of screen. Sorry. So you pass the wise guy, the wise man sends you to the tomb of your ancestors. You do have to pass through the graveyard where you meet where you talk to the gravekeepers, or the gravekeeper. I'll just call him that for now. And then he can tell you that he can inform you that your family tomb has been desecrated. Get a white one up here, a gray one. Okay. That cannot be right. Okay. Yeah, so he tells you the family tomb's been desecrated, so you go to the family tomb. Oh, wow, that was quick.
Brains.
Did we mention brains? Just checking. I don't think he mentioned those. And he might even be able to give you a clue as to who did it. It's kind of what I'm thinking is maybe he says, maybe somebody that some, I don't know, the father of a friend or something, or there's a lot of different ways we can go with that. So it's hard to say. Wanted to share an experience I had yesterday. I spent the night thinking through the design for a game mechanic and completed the design, but had the difficult time telling myself I did work on it because I didn't write code. Treating myself well is a learning process for me in game dev. Yeah, but had a difficult time. I worked on it because I didn't write code. It doesn't matter if you write code. I mean, yeah, your subconscious is going to. Let me wait a minute because I think that I'm going to be talking through the ads, and he may have ads. Well, but let's wait to answer that because it's important. It's important to give yourself. That's weird. Hmm. So I was just reading um, Apparent Apparition. Says, Dear Joy, I wanted to share an experience I had yesterday. I spent the night thinking through the design for a game mechanic and completed the design, but had a difficult time telling myself I did work on it because I didn't write code. Treating myself well is a learning process for me in game dev. Yeah, the fact that you worked on it in your head and figured it out in your head doesn't mean you didn't work on it. You know, that's your subconscious. Your subconscious is always going to keep working on whatever problem that you have during your waking hours. It's going to keep working on it. It doesn't stop. So, yes, you worked on it. Yes, you figured it out. Yes, you found an answer. So, I don't see you have to get past the I didn't do it because I didn't write the code for it. You have the answer. You just have to write the code. So please give yourself credit for coming up with the answer, even though the code isn't written yet. You still came up with the answer. I know a game is composed of everything. And do, because I think it's important. You know, that's why one of the piece of advice that I've given on this stream, as well as to anybody that's ever worked for me, is like every 2 years you should stop and write your resume. And the reason why is not because you're going to go look for a job or anything like that, because you may be perfectly happy in your job, but it's so that you take and so that you stop and look at the accomplishments you've made in the last 2 years. And 2 years is a good thing. Some people will need to do 1 year, some people will do 3, whatever. But you have to set a time where you stop and celebrate you. And writing your resume is a moment where you can do that. It is a place where you can do that. And it's just good to do. Sorry. So that is one place you can always celebrate yourself, and it's something that you can make consistent. If you boil it down to just the code, you won't have much of a game. That's true. But I think what he's saying is that he came up with the idea, he came up with the solution, but because he didn't write code for it, he feels like he shouldn't celebrate himself. And I think that's wrong. You should always celebrate yourself when you figure things out. Yeah, it's really good to celebrate yourself, and a lot of people don't do it. I didn't. I didn't do it for many, many years, and I think it cost me. You know, because if you know your true value, then you can better negotiate what that value is with your employer and stuff like that. Because sometimes an employer is not obligated to give you raises. They're not obligated to do anything for you past hire you, and there's a lot of times where you won't get a raise unless you ask for one. And most people won't ask for one. Yes, if you know your value, you can sell yourself better. Yeah. I mean, there was a time, it was, God, a long time ago. There was an artist at Blizzard, and I knew the artist really well. They did really good work, but I found out at one point that that artist made more than me, and I felt did half the work I did. And I went to my boss and I said, why does that person make more than me when I do all this? And my boss said something that just changed my whole perspective on it. And what my boss said was, because when he came in and we were doing raises and promotions and stuff like that, he asked for more and you didn't. And that just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And he's absolutely right. There was nothing wrong with when they make an offer for a raise or something like that. There's nothing wrong with saying, can you do a little bit more? Can you give a little bit more? And I've told people that have worked for me that when they get any kind of a offer from a company, whether it's a raise or something like that, always ask if they can do better. And it's hard to do, but you have to do it. And I've had people to the point where company would say, okay, let us think about it. They would go away for a while, and then that person would start looking for another job, and then at the last minute have the company come back and give them a better offer. So it's very important to know your value and the value that you're bringing to a company. And it's very important that if the opportunity comes up, ask for more, in all honesty, because it cost me quite a bit at that time for just because I didn't say anything. When they put the note across the table saying, here's what we're going to pay you now, I said, okay. I didn't say, can you do better? And it's okay to say, can you do better? I'm doubting myself of it. I can do it alone because the art and the animation aspect, I can draw really cool shit. It just takes me a long time. Then draw stick figures. I ask myself why, because I'm still learning to even do it. Yes. Okay. And we've talked about this before. We didn't do it because we went to the Miro thing, but we had talked about the fact that grab a pencil and some graph paper, use the squares on the graph paper for your sizes, and say, so you can go like 4 across and 6 high for your character. Just draw a stick figure in there. Then you can take a picture with your camera. You can take a picture, you can scan it in, and that's your character. So you have a character that you can put on screen. Even in the demos for like Game Maker and stuff like that, they suggest you make a little blue dot. That's your character. If you can build a game using dots or hand-drawn stuff that looks like crap and it's fun, when you add art to it, it's going to be amazing. So it's okay if you don't know how to draw yet. It's okay if you don't know how to do animations yet. A dot don't care. In fact, if we go back to, let me see if I still have it. Our original build that we did, let me see if it even exists anymore. I literally, before I did the tutorial, our character was a dot. He was a dot, and the only thing is his eyeballs move from side to side depending on when he was doing his thing. I think I have it. No, maybe I don't. I may not have changed. I may not have saved the build of it, but I know what we can do. Let's do this. Let me save this real quick. File save. And then let's open up an early Toby. Let's see if we can find the right one. survey says, okay. So let me clear this, because this is what we're here for, talk you guys through this stuff. Okay, put the game up. So this is what our stuff looked like before I did the tutorial, and our people were all dots. There were little smiley faces, that was it. But that represented a character. Yeah, do you know how hard it is to draw a circle? That's the most difficulty you'll have to do. And these are just colored boxes. So this is water. Oh, let me turn the collide off. This is water. This is feed, people, chairs, just little stick figure things. You can build a whole game in this style, which is basically no style, and have it work perfectly fine. So if we go back to, let's find Grandpa's hut here. Oh, here's Grandpa's house. There, basic. And if we take this and make it into a build, let me see if it will build. It may not, because I put it in the wrong place before. So Toby, let's go with Toby and save it, and then it'll come up and we'll see if we can get it to run. I think it'll run, but you never know. Copy. Let's go build. We'll put it up here. Replace. Run Toby. Okay. So if you look at, let me pull the gameplay up. Hopefully it'll come up. Give it a second. If not, then I will have to do a thing here. Toby, this is the one we want for now. Okay, so here is Toby. And if you look real close, you'll see that the only animation he has, because we have no animations to give him, was, depending on what direction he is, his little black eyes go that direction. So you don't have to be you don't have to be a fantastic artist to make something that will work for while you're putting something together. Here's all of our base art that was just literally thrown together. And I believe we put all this together in just like a couple days. Here's our buildings, and we built areas inside each building. So we have our bakeries. We did all this with just literally filled blocks of paint and circles. And we could have continued going with this from the beginning and built the whole thing out. It's a little too big, obviously, because I wasn't sure about scale in Game Maker because I had never used it before, but you can get the basic idea of where things are, how things go, but you can build your whole world and have it cost nothing. And if you can make it fun when it's just filled blocks of color, you can make anything. You can make anything. So. It's helpful to look up YouTube recaps, absolutely, and popular indie titles to see the art. Slay the Spire was hilariously bad, like 2002 Flash. Yeah. But you can jump into things like Game Maker and make stuff pretty quick. You don't have to worry about artwork when you're, in all honesty, until you decide, and we haven't even done that in ours, but until we decide what world it's going to be in, what culture it's going to be, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter what the art is. And it won't matter until we lock all that stuff down. Then we'll have a working version, and all we'll have to do is plug that artwork in and make adjustments based on the culture that we've picked. So, yeah. Don't worry about worry about not being able to do the other things. Worry about what you can do. Do it, and then just literally use sticks and stones for the rest until you are ready. So, because even with us, I mean, this was the artwork that we had for everything when we started out this thing. and these were the sizes of everything. We way overbuilt everything. It was a lot of fun, but it was way overbuilt. And lots of things. So here's our town. Here's our town center of the village. But it gave us a base idea as to what everything could look like, and just whether the whole thing flowed or not. Now, granted, after doing it this way, we learned that it's way too big and we'll probably crash out something anyway, but that's okay. But that then became our new one, which is this one here. This is after working on it for a little while and going back and learning the new tutorials in the last couple weeks. And it literally has only been a couple weeks. It has turned into this. So boop a doop. So it's become this, which is a full set of just some basic art that I threw together and that we put in, as well as the help of the tutorial, of course, because the tutorial was a huge thing on it. And now we literally have a place that our character can walk around. Let me get him out from behind me. We have buildings that tops come off of, and you can talk to people in them and buy things from them, all that. Well, you will be able to buy things from them, but it gives us a basic rundown of what our town is for very little, so I didn't have to wait on artists. I didn't have to wait on programmers. I just, what, we're making a mock-up. So a mock-up doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. I'm going to dig out Jeff Kaplan's old development videos where he shows Overwatch in its block development stage, where everything is literally rectangles and blocks. Yes, it is, because that's what it is. Your programmers can't sit around and wait to make a game waiting for the artist, and they're not going to. They're going to use what they have available. You should too. Your character, if you're doing a 3D environment, if you're using Unreal or one of those, your character can just be a block. Okay, I got a block. I'm gonna run around with him, because you're looking for the feel of it, not the look of it. Does it feel right? Yeah, are you going in the direction you want to go? Is this what you want it to look like? It's freaking me out because every time I look over here at the Twitch page, my the screen is frozen. So I'm hoping that the screen is not frozen for you guys. So if I no, now it looks like it's not frozen. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Jeff Kaplan has a thing on that. There's a lot of, if you just look at a lot of mocked up stuff that people did in the early, it isn't frozen for me. Okay, cool. If you just look at some of the early things that people put together and what constituted the starting of making a game, it is literally stick figures, and that's okay. So, apparent apparition, I got news for you. Based on what you've said already, you're way ahead of the curve. You're doing really good, and keep doing it. And give yourself a break. Meaning, stop thinking that the things you're doing aren't worth anything. Because if you figured out a mechanic from the beginning, if you figured out a mechanic that now is going to work, that's a huge accomplishment, even if it's just one mechanic. Because there's a lot of people that can't. Stop and play games till bad. Cool. Also, I read a lot. I not just listen to books on Audible, but I also just read. And I read a lot of stuff about our industry and things like that. And I read a lot of stuff about how other people make games, because in all of that, you're going to find little things that help you do the things that you want to do. And also you'll see that all of us that have been doing this for a while, we still hunt and peck, and we still look at different things and say, okay, what if I wanted to do this? What would happen? So definitely give yourself a break. Definitely stop and give yourself rewards for the cool things you do. Because in this world, there's a lot of people that can't do any of them. And it's really good to help and acknowledge when you need that help. And you give yourself that help. And you're not going to break your arm patting yourself on the back. It just ain't going to happen. You might need to stretch a little bit, but you're not going to break your arm. So you can see our little thing in the last couple of weeks has come a long way from our little stick figure people, our little our little solid filled shapes version. How about that? Is that a good way to put it? You might dislocate your shoulder, but it's not gonna break. I don't know. Some people are pretty stretchy. It's also like anything else you do, Sparta. The more you pat yourself on the back, the more you're going to be able to pat yourself on the back, because you're going to, number one, your arm is going to stretch and you're going to get a lot more motion. But you're going to start to see the things that you do that deserve a pat on the back. Well, I think that you're overthinking a bit. I'm trying to think of the name of a book. What is the name of that book? Let me look it up here real quick. I don't think I have it, but let me see. It is called okay. There's a book called, I think it's the 10th anniversary edition, The Art of Game Design, a book of lenses. I think this book would help you. If you do any kind of reading at all, I don't think it's on Audible, but you can buy it on, it's the 3rd edition. But it's called The Art of Game Design. A book of lenses is what it's called. And the way it's written, I think it would help you. Yeah, check it out. It's a based on what the way you've talked about stuff. I think that this book can help you in the way that he teaches things and the way he explains things. I think can help quite a bit. And I will add it for everybody else. I will add it to our Discord book list. If I don't think it's there, it could be. Oh, all of my book recommendations are gone. Huh? Where did my book recommendations go? If it's in education? Nope. Nope. Oh, reading list. Oh, here it is. Let's see if it's in here. It might be in here. It is not. So I will add it to the list. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, Xandru, for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. Got 2 times titles, so you need to look up. Cool. The name is a bit of a... Yes, it is. I'll just call you XO. Hey, XO. Because I am horrible, as everybody here knows, I am horrible with Twitch names. I'm pretty sure you're taking that over with me. No worries at all. Give me a little motivation. You're good. It's all good. All this stuff is good. That is what people do. Okay. Yeah, I'm terrible with names on this. It's sometimes it's pretty funny, but in the long run, it's what the hell? What the hell did he just say? It's funny to me. Okay, let's see if we can find this real quick. Okay, boop. You need just the book cover. Yeah, I found this book to be pretty good when I read it. It's been a while, but let's put it there. Then we'll throw it up online now so that it's there. Throw it in here. Grab the title. Okay, so in under Ask the Allfather in reading lists, I put a picture of the book there so that you guys would have it. Yeah, it's well written. If it is a little bit pricey, I completely understand why. I think it's worth it though. Plus, if you're in the business, you can always write it off on your taxes as a business expense. So cool. But I like the style that he wrote it in, so that's always good. Okay, back to where we were. Where are we? Okay, we're doing good. All right, we're good on time. Don't seem to have gotten, well, we're doing all right. Yeah, like I was saying, I was watching Luna's stream for a little while last night to see how she's building her game, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, because I get lost in what I'm doing, but I see she does as well, so I don't feel as bad as I probably should about getting. I was feeling bad about it, but I'm not now. Open recent. Let's get back to our game, which is this one, and we're gonna go. Turn that off. Wait, no, that one we want on. Turn the wrong one off. Okay. So yeah, so as we start, and I'm gonna have to start doing some things offline in order for it to move forward, because the amount of time it will take once I get started on it, the amount of time it's going to take to do some of it, and then I can explain what I did and why. When we come back, is it's going to help, you know. So I'll start. I've been pounding in on this today. Let's keep going. Ancestors headstone. So we can have the grave digger, grave keeper. Why did I put keeper? This is why you should always step away for a minute and then come back. Because you see silly mistakes you made that will make you laugh later. Gravedigger. Okay. The gravedigger tells you the family tomb has been desecrated because it's part of his job is to take care of those things. So um, he can say that. In fact, we can, because we were trying to think of what causes the first thing. He can say, let's make a new one. We can say, because he can have that first stone. So we were talking about, okay, he finds the first stone out in thing, but what if it was the grave digger, who's also the caretaker for the graveyard? What if he finds the stone and he gives it to you, and he goes, "I found this stone. I think it goes to the crypt." So something like that, and then that way we can, because we were trying to figure out yesterday, I think it was, where we get the first stone that activates the fountain. If he just, because my concern as I was thinking about it last night was, does he just see us? Why would he just pick up a stone outside the crypt if he didn't know that it was needed? Because there's rocks everywhere. You know, like a key to the fence. Yeah, maybe. Look his price we got. So then he heads over because he would probably already have any key to open up the fence to the family crypt, because it is his family's crypt. So we'll assume that he has that, but he can also do because we can, even on this thing, we can add little like test dialogue. So we can do something like that. I chased a few people away from there yesterday, type thing. So that can be a little bit more reinforcement that there's a foretelling that there's something wrong. Um, so instead of having to do this found stone by the tomb, we actually now have it here, or here, where he found it and gave it to you, which just makes for a more interesting story point then. And do this kind of thing. No, it's not going to let me detach, is it? Nope. So we want to put that there, but this can be like the dialogue or the interaction you have with him, and then you go here. So hence you take the stone from the gravedigger, fix the fountain, and that is your connection to the spirit world. And my fat fingers. So your connection, fixed found connection to the spirit world. Spirit fountain that tells him to find the other things so you can talk to the first grandparent. Will help you give him and their power. And then the fountain will send him on the first quest for the first stones for the great great grandfather. Then he returns with the stones. Then we have to come up with where the stones are, why they're there, and that was basically his first main quest. Bought the book. We'll have it tomorrow. Thanks. It is incredibly hard to find strong objective game design advice. That's true. There, if you also look in our Discord, there's a couple other books there that could help as well. If you look up at the top, the first one is The Design of Everyday Things. I really like that book. from the standpoint of designing anything as well as software. And I think that it's really, really cool. The creating characters, archetypes is really good. If you're doing any kind of cinematic for your project, the film directing shot by shot book is really good. And then if you're doing any kind of editing, video editing, Blink is good. You know, those are the main ones for the creative side. You know, so it's up to you where you want to go with it, but there are some good, strong study materials out there that can help. And these are just ones that I found on my own throughout time. There's also some other things about learning books and storyline stuff, where a lot of things, as well as some health books and just how to talk to people books and stuff like that are in the reading list as well. And that's the list under Ask the Allfather reading list. So you can check it out. I have a friend who is a chief design officer person. We met each other as co-level engineers and designers years ago. And we have had so many discussions about design over the years. The main one we butt heads on is I'm against effects in the multiplayer video game that emulate networking bugs, like slowdowns. And I can kind of see that. I'm not a fan of those either. If I believe that there's something wrong with my system, my way of looking at it is my system was fine before I played your game, so now I'm not going to play your game because it makes my system look like it's failing. Oh, cool. You added 2 extra books. Is that to the general book recommendations? Yeah, it looks like it. Rules of play, good. Game mechanics, good. Awesome. Yeah, I think that if you're going to make games, and this is, in the early years, we had arguments about color theory. And the thing about if you, it's really good if you're an artist to learn color theory. However, is once you know color theory, figure out ways to break it that make what you're trying to do correct. Meaning, and I used, that was a very bad explanation, but if we go back to, say, filming and editing, there's a thing called the 180 rule. And in the 180 rule, it tells them where the camera has to go when 2 people are facing each other and talking to each other. And if I'm facing you and you're facing me in this way, so I'm facing you, you're facing me, the camera on you would be here. The camera on me would be here. It would never be over here. It would never cross the 180 degree mark. So as we're talking to each other, your brain will have a sense as to where we're standing, but there are times, and Stanley Kubrick was amazing at this. And if you look at a lot of his movies, he knew the 180 rule, but he broke it to cause tension in the audience because we're so used to those rules existing and those rules being there. He knew that if he broke them, he could cause more stress for the audience, which is amazing. But it's the same thing with color theory. You know color theory, but if you want to express something through your color theory, you change the rule simply. And if you change the rule simply, consciously, they're not going to realize it, but subconsciously they will. And you can do a whole lot of things. You can get a whole lot of emotion out of your audience. So yeah, learning the rules is great, and learning as much information is great. And then once you have that information, it doesn't mean you have to follow it. But what it does mean is you can take a piece from here, you can take a piece from this book, you can take a piece from this book, and you can weave a path of your own rule to make something the way you want it to be. The more knowledge you have, the better it is the easier it is to break the rules and make cool stuff. My stance is I do not want people to have to wonder if it's, well, we had a discussion years ago about, and this is with new artists and stuff like that. At the very least, we have to teach each other the vocabulary of what we do so that when we're having discussions, they know what we're talking about. And a lot of these books are really good at helping establish that vocabulary in your mind so that you know what we're talking about. You know what if you got the director book, you'd know what the 180 rule was. You would know what the different color theory rules are. Just knowing the vocabulary that goes with them can save you a lot of hunt and pecking when you're in a conversation with someone that uses those vocabulary. If you learn how the rules work, you can break them. You will always know when to break those rules to create a higher effect, that is true, than you would otherwise get. Yes. Sometimes things are obviously obvious to most. I just can't see. Yeah, no worries. It's okay. It's just practice. Awareness is just practice more than anything else. Yeah, my stance is I do not want people to have to wonder if it's the video game or the setup. Yeah, that's that's hugely important because the first thing anybody's going to do is, well, first they'll blame the controller, but that's a whole another joke. But the first thing they do is if your game is the game that makes their system wonky, they're going to blame your game. They're not going to blame their system. It was perfectly fine when I was playing Beetlejuice, but when I put your game in, for some reason, the screen rips. You get screen tearing and all this other stuff. I don't like it. Okay, so we'll have to build the quest around him going and getting the first stone or him going and getting the first great granddad stone and putting that together. And it doesn't matter how many parts, but what we can do is this. Let me move. Okay, let me move some things around here. Let's grab these guys, put them down here. Grab this guy, put him down here. Take that one off. Take this one off. That's better now. Okay. We can do a new one here and say, it helps if I don't. I keep doing that, guys. I am so sorry. I keep putting things behind me. Collect. We'll say that for great granddad GGD, and we can say equals 3 stones. So you need to go find 3 pieces. Stone. 3 stone pieces. And we'll just say statue for now. Or a statue. Yeah, then you return with the stones. Yeah, so then you return with the stone, take the, then place them in his statue, and we're all good. And then then great granddad's spirit takes him over to the fountain. Then the fountain interacts between them. Guys, I did it again. So great granddad equals 3 stone pieces for his statue. You return with the stones, and then you fix his statue. fix a statue, and then you don't need this. You fix statue, then great granddad spirit takes you into the fountain and gives you advice. You the roar and advice. Lion roar, and you level up. You level up to 1. Okay. Ads are coming. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, so there is our fine little path to level 1. So then we just need to add a couple things, like in our overall list of people, since we had Donner in there, which it shouldn't have been in there in the first place, we can actually make that the Gravedigger. So that is now the Gravedigger. Gravedigger, more than meets the eye. I like when a game has more than one hint for what can be a trigger or an action, like an auto cue or a flashing thing, not just a different color. Yeah. I mean, in the old days when we used to do the hunt and peck games, you just look for whatever item in the room was just a little bit different color, because they would never match the color very well to the room that they put them in. So it was like, oh, there's the secret thing. Yay. Did he mention brains?
Brains.
I get the feeling that the zombie doesn't always mention what he's here for or what he wants. I don't know. Just seems odd to me. You would think he would just say, this is what I'm here for. This is what I want. But no, can't tell. Hmm. Sorry, I'm looking at something real quick. Sorry, I'm waiting for a delivery for the switch box for my video, because my screen keeps rattling, because the switch box there's something wrong with it. Something's wrong. Okay, doesn't look like there's a time on that. Oakley dokley. Mm-hmm.
Brains.
Did he say brains? I don't understand. Okay, what addressing me directly? Add your drug. Okay. Oh, that's me. Okay. Ads are running. Okay, we're done. All right. We are there. Let me go back to. God. I just realized that I went in and put all of these names in by hand, and I didn't need to because it's actually built into this system here. So that's funny. I did a mistake. That's what it should be. I think that, oh, that just changed the background color. We don't want to do that. Background, well, where's the blue that it was? Oh, because there's an opacity on it, isn't there? Nope. Is that about right? Nope. Oh, well, we'll fix it later. Yeah, we'll get those all fixed. You are a grain zombie. Very nicely done. I love bread. Bread is good. Okay. So yeah, so technically we didn't get a lot done today because we did a lot of talking, but that's okay. Sometimes we have to do that, but we can now get rid of this box here, I believe. So let's do that because it's been replaced with the big old thing up there. We'll get rid of all this. Clear our pages. Nice little form up here. Which once we fill it out, I believe we can save it as an Excel file, which is pretty cool. Yep, color's not even in there, so I don't even know what color that is. Let's make it that one for now. It's a little bit dark, but oh well. I was trying to look for. Oh, here's the color for the text. Okay, good. Oh, it's just a color for surrounding the text. Highlighter. Okay, that's fine. Okay, okay. Now what we can do is we can probably change the background for the things that we've added already. So we'll say we'll make the background gray for things that we've already put a connection in the game to. So we had, because we had did these things to, that's too dark, that one. Yep. This is a quick clue that we put them, we have placeholders for them in the game type thing. Oh, we don't have placeholder for that one yet. Get that back to none. The hell did it just do? Okay, so that's one that still needs to be done. Okay, okay, that's you guys talking. That has nothing to do with me. So that's the sheriff being sheriffy. Sorry, just throwing some stuff in here real quick. While I'm thinking about it, as we're coming up to the end here. My eye. Okay. Because we could add another line and say that it is, see if this is going to work the way I think it is. It did not. G. Because we can make these ones that are, these ones here. Because I was thinking about it is if their initial greetings would be the first thing, the first thing they say to you type thing. So if, God, I wish, go away. Okay. So if we make this, if this is level 0, it's just, so make it the first greeting type thing. That kind of works. Herbs grow in the forest, blah, blah, blah. We'll work all that out, but I already have the axe boys. We can also do something like that for dialogue chains and things like that. So that's what we can do with the top line, is we can make the top one is like, what are their initial communications to our character. There we go. Cool. Alrighty then. Where are we at? Oh, it's after 3:30. Okay. Let's save this out. We need to go to this side. That's weird. It's frozen again. Don't know why that keeps freezing up. But you guys say you can see it, so it's all good. Not worried about it. Okay, so that is ready. Alrighty then. Let's we're gonna go ahead and close this out. So let's drop this. Pull our logo back up. Say goodbye from our design groups. So we will come back to this tomorrow.